I'm Kumari Sky, the Relaxationist, and I'm here today to share some yin yoga with you. So if you have props, that is awesome. I have a couple blocks here. Any kind of blocks will do. If you don't have blocks, maybe you have a sturdy basket or some books or something that could work. Then I also have a bolster. Mine is filled with cotton, but there's some that are filled with foam or buckwheat. Anything will do if you don't have a bolster. Things like rolled up beach towels or blankets can work really well. And then finally, I have another blanket that I'm mostly going to be using just to sit on or to put my head on. So those are kind of the things that I have. But of course, you can please be creative. And the reason we want so many props is so our bodies can relax. Yin yoga's aim is to encourage energy and movement in the connective tissues of the body. So your fascia, your tendons, your ligaments, your joints, even your bones are positively benefited through the practice of yin yoga. So if you are ready to start, let's do that. I always love to hear from you in the comments. So if you feel like saying hi and where you're tuning in from, that's always so fun for me because I love this opportunity to share what I love and just building a worldwide community of people that care about their bodies, care about their nervous systems. So glad you're here. All right. So if you'd like to find a position that feels comfortable to sit in, I'm fine like this, but that might not be right for you. Sometimes sitting up on something a little higher can help the knees be a little more comfortable. We won't be here for long, okay? So once you are settled and ready to go ahead and close down your eyes. And just feel the rise and fall of your breath as you sit here. Begin to imagine that the exhales could really help you release more through the lower body, a sense of grounding. And now each inhale activates and welcomes a sense of upliftment, of elongation through the spine. And this probably is a very subtle feeling. And then can you feel an expansiveness across the chest? Together we'll take a long, slow, deep inhale. Two more just like that, friends. Breathing in. And then 3 rounds of a very similar breath. Well, you're going to take a big breath in, but then at the very top, take another little sip of breath. So it would be like this. And then slowly blow it out. We'll do that 3 times together. Ready? Breathing in. A little more. And slowly exhale through pursed lips. Again. Just noticing how you feel, maybe a little more centered or connected with your body. If you're ready to extend out your legs, you can do that. I also like to do just a few neck rolls while we're here. Welcome to those of you who may have just joined. Nice. Coming back to neutral with the head. Let's reach down with the right hand and come up and over. And just try to pull the shoulder back. So kind of opening the chest, but also getting a side stretch here. Inhaling, coming back up. Another thing I always love to know when I do these lives is it daytime or nighttime where you're at? Obviously, I know in Minnesota, you're only an hour ahead of me. All right, how about some circles? And you can still do something like this. If your legs are out long, you can still make some circles. Wonderful. Yay. All right, so we are going to do some yin yoga for the feet today. And then we'll also do a little something for the upper body while we hang out. This one's called the toe squat. It's not a fan favorite, if I'm being honest, but it's super good for the tissues on the bottom of your feet. Maybe you've heard of plantar fasciitis or like issues with the nerves in the feet. This is really going to just help bring energy and sensation and ultimately healing and balancing. 1 p.m. in Colombia. Hi, Valentina. So glad you're joining today. I love knowing that. That's so interesting because I was just talking to this man that attends classes at the yoga studio I work at. And his name's Gus. And I've always been wondering, like, where is he from? Like, I don't know him well enough. And he just told me he's from Colombia. So that's fun. His parents moved to the United States when he was just over a year old. All right, let's get to toe squat. All I'm doing is tucking my toes. So part 1, you could just be right here. If that is enough sensation for you and you like the idea of just being able to lift up and come out of it, do that. Maybe you're up for a little more. I'm about to go off screen. Right? Synchronicity. Yep. Okay. So if you did decide to do this, we better put the timer on for this one, or else you're not going to take my yin class again if I keep you here too long. All right. So we're going to do eagle arms. So right under left, you can bear hug or wind around. Now, if you have your hands on the floor, you'll just skip this part. You can always give yourself a break if you want to come up. Okay, so now we're going to open the arms. Take the left one underneath. So there's not tons of yin yoga for the upper body, but I do like to do it. So just even 30 seconds to 1 minute is really beneficial. But we'll do some other things for the shoulders too. Okay, we've got 5 more seconds. Those feet are getting stretched out. All right, let's let that go. Come to all four. My favorite after that, ooh, little taps. Oh, I just scared my cat. Hopefully he'll come visit us today. He usually likes to be on camera. All right, from there, we are going to come down to the belly. Let me see, how do I want to do this? We are going to do Sphinx pose. Front side of the body. So this one, we're meant to feel a little squeeze in the lower back. And that might happen for you just, I'm sorry, I keep having to have some little burps. You might just feel it fine here on your elbows. I am a big fan of the bolster. So even if you have like a big pillow or a rolled up blanket, whatever you can do to feel sensation here in your lower back, and your butt and your legs are relaxed. So if you're finding you're clenching, then I think you need to come down a little farther with the upper body. So this pressure that you're creating is really nourishing to your tissues. So essentially it's squeezing the discs in the lower spine in towards the body versus kind of out the other way. That happens a lot when we're sitting at a desk or we're driving, we're picking up little kids or whatever it might be. We tend to live a more forward bending life. So it's poses like these that can really benefit our overall spine health. And this one especially can combat osteopenia. So what happens before a person has osteoporosis. So this is helping to encourage new cellular action, like creating cells that create collagen or hyaluronic acid, which is the precursor or part of what collagen is. So we just hang out here. We're going to stay 3 more minutes with this one. If you start to notice that you're not feeling it as much anymore, go ahead and get yourself up higher. Or another thing that's easy to do is just bend the feet. I usually hook my ankles. Okay, so you do you. I'm going to be quiet for a little bit here. This is the essence of Yin Yoga. It's a quiet inward practice. Just remember your head and neck can be in whatever way is comfortable. I'm going to set mine down. We've got about 1 more minute here. If you are craving maybe just a little more oomph, another thing you can do is palms down and hold yourself up like that. But again, it shouldn't make you tense and protect your lower back. This should be done in a way that's just very loving to the lower back. Now, before we come out, let's feel the breath at the belly for 3 breaths. Trying to breathe into that space of the lower back. So nice, everyone. I'm sure that you're ready to come out, so let's push up. If you want to go back and do a child's pose, or maybe some cat and cow movement. Maybe hip circle. And next up, we are going to do a child's pose, but we're going to do thread the needle arms because we're targeting the shoulders a lot today in this class. This is what it would look like without any props. So I'm threading this arm through. This arm can, I don't know if I'm squishing the mic, but here we go. This arm's long. It can be here. Some people like to put it back here. You can do whatever you want with that other arm. Okay, if you feel like your head and neck are squashed, I would recommend getting your shoulder up on something and then coming down. And if you can, I just have my head turned to the side so I can look, but try to have your forehead on the ground. If this is not working for your knees, you could just lay on your belly and do that. You could even be upright and just hold your arm. We're going to stay for 2.5 minutes on each side. Again, I'm always here in the chat. I've got one phone with the chat open, so if you have any questions that you feel like you could articulate for me to understand how you need help, please, I want you to have a great experience. So if you can't figure it out, let me know. I am just going to stay upright because I know in child's pose, I just completely squished the mic. So I'll keep your time. And you should be feeling a nice big sensation or medium sensation in the shoulder blade. So if that isn't happening, see if you can move your arm around a little bit or start to twist a little bit more to like really feel that stretch in the shoulder area. And then, of course, we get the benefit of elongating the spine while we're in child's pose. And then maybe you're feeling like a little pressure in the hips, the knees, the ankles. That pressure is really beneficial to your joints. It's because there's not blood flow in cartilage. When we hold like this, an influx of blood rushes into these big joints and it really helps keep them working well. If you've just joined, we're doing child's pose with thread the needle arm. I'm sitting up because I will squish the mic. I'm just feeling the breath on the back side of your body. Maybe even intending to breathe into that area where you're feeling sensation. We've got just under 30 seconds on this side. All right, so release. If you're feeling like you'd like to give your legs a little stretch or even do a downward dog, or perhaps even some backstroking with the arm you just did, can be really nice. So because our connective tissues don't really move very much, that's why we hold the poses for minutes on end. And then, so essentially we're deforming our tissues. Then when we get up, we're going to move around a little bit or choose another position to be still in. Our tissues reform. And in this process, they are coming back sturdier, healthier, more nourished. All right, so thread the needle child's pose on the other side. Again, using your props to help accentuate and support. If possible, you're trying to keep the rest of your body relaxed. And let's just have a little quiet time here. I think since it's virtual, I tend to talk a little more than I usually do in yin class. So I'm trying to remember to give you some quiet time. So we'll spend the next minute or so just in stillness, following your breath, and staying tuned into sensation. And staying with the flow of the breath and seeing if you can really tune into what it really feels like. What does it feel like to breathe and notice from the inside out? Now beginning to press your way up, releasing, maybe doing some back stroking or stretching out your legs. We never intend to rush yin class, so I always try to make sure there's plenty of time in between each shape we make for you to move your body and let your tissues reform. Let that recirculation of hyperoxygenated blood infiltrate all the areas that we were just putting stress on. Okay, so next up, it's called the twisted deer. So what you're going to do, if you have a bolster, yay, you're going to bring the bolster on the side of the thigh. And then the legs can be however. If you don't have a bolster, you could line up 2 blocks and put a blanket over it. Maybe you have a couch pillow or 2 throw pillows that could act as the bolster. And then maybe another block. So I'm going to take my hands on either side of this bolster. So I'm twisting and then I'm lowering down. And you can decide which way you want your head to turn. Then to really create the side stretch along with this twist, you're going to reach your arm up and over. So it's going to look like this. Alternatives and options. The arm could, I'm not laying down anymore because it's going to squish the thing, but the arm can be overhead like this. You can adjust your legs. So every pose is going to have a target area or the point of doing the pose. This one is to stretch the side body and gently twist, especially the lumbar spine area. Okay, so staying maybe 4 minutes in this one. And just noticing the quality of your breath, what it feels like to breathe in this twisted positioning. And just seeing if there's anywhere else that you might need a little more support or a place where you're inadvertently holding. That happens to me all the time when I practice. I realize that I'm holding tension somewhere just out of habit. See if you can relax that. The jaw is a big one, and also the glutes are big areas where people tend to just hold by accident. Now, if that extended arm happens to get tingly or pinchy, be sure to change the position. All right, I'm going to go quiet for a little bit and just do the pose with you. We'll stay one more minute. Starting to deepen your breath a bit. Really breathing into that side stretch. We're not coming out of the pose yet. Fill your body with breath and feel your side body expanding. And then from here, we'll plant the hands, rise on up. I like the windshield wipers after that one. I think I need to do some research, see if there's a better microphone for yin yoga teaching. I love this microphone, but I feel like I don't have the freedom I'd like with it. And maybe that's just what it's like teaching yin yoga, because I do videos on platforms outside of this one, which I'm not going to mention because I'm not allowed to. And I have like this headset thing with the little, I also don't really like that one. So what's a yoga teacher to do? If anyone has any suggestions, I'm happy to hear about them. All right, so now I just did switch sides like that. The main thing is we want to have that thigh near the bolster, and then we're gonna twist the body. Lower yourself down. We stayed for 4 minutes on the other side, so we'll do that on this side as well. Oh, and I can talk on this side. Oop, forgot my block. So really, I'm trying to lay my front side on the bolster, not so much my side. I mean, you can lay your side body on the bolster. Totally fine if that's working better for you. There's just so many things to tell about in yin yoga. I really wish I could show you my cat right now. He's sleeping on the couch very cutely. You know how like they turn their head kind of upside down when they're all curled up? I was hoping maybe he'd lay right here, but I guess he had other plans. I guess I don't really feel like doing the block. And just keep adjusting, making sure you're feeling that big stretch opening in the side body. I like this one too because it really puts some good pressure on that bottom hip. So yin yoga is definitely about like elongating and that stretchy feeling, but also the pressure is beneficial. And that kind of leads me to tell you about how I'm going to do a class on myofascial release with a ball next week. You'll find that listed in my live offerings. So it's a great way to release tension in the muscles that will help you move better, maybe experience a little less pain if you have that happening. It's a really fun practice. I think it's probably my most popular in-person class. So I'm excited to see if we can do it here on Insight Timer. So you just need like a tennis ball. You could get an official myofascial release ball off of the internet. I also really like firm rubber dog balls. I have a few of those. And if you have a dog, maybe you already have one. Now, whether or not you want to lay on it is a different question. All right, 30 more seconds. I'm going to be quiet. Let's just breathe. Okay, planting the palms, pressing upright. Again, we get some windshield wipers. Another thing I like after that too is a reverse tabletop. I love this Thursday session because I always do a bar class at the studio I work at before. And so then I get to come and do yin yoga. Maybe some of you have done some bigger exercise or maybe gone like for a jog or something and you're using this to stretch out your muscles. So awesome. Okay, so next up, we're going to do one called Reverse Thread the Needle. Be really mindful and loving towards your shoulders. And I'm going to show you some different ways to approach this. This is one of those poses that there's definitely a lot of different ways to do it. Okay, so first things first, what we're trying to do is stretch here. So way number one, arm comes out and we roll. If your foot doesn't come behind here, you can always step it in front. Okay, that's way one. If you want to feel a little more intense sensation, bring your arm to a 90-degree angle. That's too intense for me. If you're a person that felt like, ooh, I didn't like either one of those, have your arm down a little bit more. And if you can't bend your knee like this, no biggie, just have your leg out long. Okay, so the point is we're making that stretch in the inner arm. I'm going to try to come on this side to give you a view from this angle and start the timer. The Insight Timer. Okay, so arm out. Sometimes I'll see people putting their leg like this. And see how my head is just kind of, I'm going to put something underneath it. Okay, remember yin yoga, all about support. Okay, so you find a way for your legs. Pretty sure this is squishing the mic a little, so if I sound muffled, don't worry, we're not staying here for 5 minutes. We're literally staying here for like less than a minute more. Okay. Let's roll out. And you can just cruise on over to the other side. And we're going to stay a minute and a half on that side. It's a great opportunity to really look at the breath, feeling that diaphragmatic breath. Just bringing more prana, more energy into the body. And now we'll be rolling out, pressing up, maybe feeling some cat and cows. So nice. Let's work the hips a little bit. Let's do sleeping swan. It's pigeon pose. So this one. So a couple things in yin yoga. You can put something under this back shin if your knee gets bothered by this. If you have a lot of space under the glutes of the leg that's in front, put a pillow or a block there. And then if you want to, just come down farther. You can also do 90-90. We did this the other day if you were with me, 90-90. Or you can do a reclined version if your knees are saying no. Okay, so lots of options here. We'll stay 3 more minutes with this one. Remember, in yin yoga, it's not that we're like trying to get anywhere. We're just trying to create sensation. One more minute. Staying present, connected to the sensations in the body, but also watching the fluctuations of the mind. When it gets intense, do you start thinking more? And if you do, can you come back to the breath and start to breathe into the sensations? Lovely. Let's go ahead and come on up. Many people love a downward dog after that. Some enjoy child's pose. I'm a big fan of the upward dog. Just letting my hips sink down. And let's do the other side. Sliding that knee up, sinking down. My teacher always taught us to remind people to think about sinking into the hips and leg more in this one versus like putting all that weight in the front leg. I mean, obviously there's some in there, but if you can think about sinking back. So we'll also hold this one, of course, for 4 minutes. And this is an invitation in Yin Yoga to cultivate mindfulness, to cultivate being in the present moment. When we decide we want to be more present, dwell in the moments that are happening, this is very, very calming to the nervous system. And what naturally happens is a greater clarity in the mind. Even the breathing becomes more functional when we stay in the moment, when our minds aren't wandering to past or future. This is where balance and then creation arise from. So when I say creation, I mean inspired thoughts. We also get the opportunity to kind of learn to discern, like, what are my thinking mind, my habits, my stories, my beliefs. There's that aspect, or some people call it the ego. And then there's this other part of the mind where it's just more aligned with the heart, with your true essence, when your mind and your heart are in coherence. So these thoughts tend to be fresh, pure, not just regurgitations of prior thoughts, is what the mind pretty much does all day. So that's my little speech on staying in the present moment for today. We're going to be here another minute and a half, and I'm going to go quiet for it. Beginning to deepen the breath. Just signaling your body that there's change coming. Could ground down through the palms. Pressing yourself up. Coming away from the shape. And feeling free to move your body in any way. Now we've come to our final pose of our session, Shavasana. Be sure to set yourself up so you feel cozy and supported. As you probably know, Shavasana is laying on your back traditionally. I like to put something under my knees, but if laying on your side or your belly is more comfortable, please do. We're going to stay for 5 minutes. Once you've cultivated your comfortable position, closing down your eyes, we're going to take 3 more rounds of those sip breaths. All right, so let's do that now. Shavasana. Return to the feeling of the breath. Take some deeper breath. Maybe even a sense of the whole body expanding on your inhale. As if the breath were traveling all the way to the fingers and the toes. Starting to encourage some gentle movement in the fingers and toes, the legs and arms. From here, you can start stretching your body, maybe even hugging your knees up towards your chest. Really just guiding yourself from your rest, from your practice, in whatever way is best for you. If you'd like to join me for closing our time together, please do come on up to a seat. Let's bring our hands to heart center. May the peace that we've created within in our bodies and minds ripple out to everyone around us. And in this way, may we believe that we're creating more peace on our planet through our personal practices. Wishing you all the very best. Namaste. Thank you for your presence here, for your interest and desire to do yoga in this way. If this is the first time we've connected, I'm so glad about that. Again, my name is Kumari Sky. I'm the relaxationist.